Hey y'all, and Happy New Year. I'm back with my November 2024 reading wrap up, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, I am back. I took a little break for the holidays, so I hope that everyone had happy holidays. I sure did, and I actually got some reading done. I had about 20 more books to go in order to get to 100 books read. Between November and December, I read a total of 24 books, which put me at 104 books read in the year 2024. I am so excited that I read 104 books last year. Last year, my goal was 55. This year, it will be 75. But let's get into the 10 books that I read in the month of November. I started the month off with The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I had previously read the physical book and I enjoyed it so much. I wanted to do a reread, and this time I listened to the audiobook, and it is narrated by the author herself, Alice Walker. I absolutely enjoyed the narration. I fell in love with this book again, reading it a second time. The Color Purple is my favorite book, so of course I am giving it 5 stars. A lot of people may not be aware of this, but The Color Purple is actually a series of 3 books. The second book is The Temple of My Familiar, and I read that book as well in the month of November. It was an audiobook listen, and this book started off really good. We get introduced to a mother and daughter, and we're getting the history of them and their culture. Then the drama and messiness starts. The daughter falls in love with a rock and roll star, and her husband and her mom end up falling in love after the two of them have married and had children. The book started off with a bang, and then it goes into other characters that at the end, they do show how these characters are connected to one another. And we even get some more information on Celie and Suge. One of Celie's grandchildren has a major part in this book. So it's a lot of characters, a lot going on. There's a character named Lacey who you get a little fantasy sci-fi going on because she has lived multiple lives and has lived as different creatures and different genders. And so I do like how these stories showed how societies used to run and how women were important in those societies. Towards the middle of the book, it became too much for me. Characters started being introduced that really didn't move the plot forward or offer information that I felt was important to the plot. And so this story just started to kind of run in a direction that I didn't quite understand, and so I gave this book 3 stars. The next book, y'all, was one that I did a standalone review for, and that is Somebody's Wife by Robbi Renee. Check out that review where I go into all the details of everything I loved about this book, as well as the follow-up novella, which is Somebody's Forever by Robbi Renee. I gave Somebody's Wife 5 stars. I love me some Dr. Ezekiel. Love me some Dr. Gemma. They were great characters. I love their love story, and it continues in Somebody's Forever. So check out that review for more. I gave Somebody's Forever 4 stars. I really enjoyed this series. Y'all, the next book is one that surprised me. Shout out to one of the viewers who put in the comments of my video where I do a review on all Gray Huffington books that I read in, I believe, the month of October. Someone let me know to go read Makai Squared. And honey, when I tell you I hurried up and downloaded that book from Kindle Unlimited, I ate Makai Squared up like I didn't just read Makai 2 months ago. Makai Squared is an extended version of Makai by Gray Huffington. And so you get additional chapters towards the end of the book. But even though I plan on skimming the book and getting to those additional chapters, I didn't end up doing it. I ended up reading the entire book because this story is just so good. And I just love Glacier and Makai's relationship, how they met. I love how Glacier was able to bring out his vulnerable side. So this is a really good book. I did have my critiques of Makai, and I gave it 3.5 stars and rounded up to 4. However, reading Makai Squared, I feel like I understood more some of the actions that Makai did in this book. He sacrificed his relationship in order to take revenge on someone who harmed Glacier, and I was really upset about that, and that's why I rated the book so low. And then the ending was very rushed, but because of the extended chapters in Makai Squared, the ending was not rushed like it was in the first book, so that's a plus. And I feel like when I read it again, him taking such extreme measures in order to protect Glacier, I feel like I understood him better reading the book this second time. So my rating of Makai Squared is 5 stars. And so now Makai Squared is my favorite book in the Berkeley Bread series. Speaking of Gray Huffington, I started her Six in the City series, and I read Six in the City 1 and Six in the City 2, and both of these are book 1 and book 2 in her situationship series. The main female character of Six in the City is Six. She is a personal assistant to an R&B singer, and on New Year's Eve, she finds out that her boss is cheating on her husband, Troth Mallard. And Troth is handsome. Six has a crush on him. The two of them have this strained relationship because Troth has actually been crushing on her as well. And so in the second book, we also get more of this situationship between him and Six. I did enjoy both of these novellas. So I gave Six in the City 1 5 stars because that's where all the drama really unfolded. And I'm giving Six in the City 2 4 stars because there wasn't as much drama and excitement as there was in the first book. So the next book is another novelette, and that is No Thank You by Alexandra Warren. I was so excited to find out that there actually are romance books by Black authors that feature Black characters that are holiday Thanksgiving reads. So I started this book series on Thanksgiving Day. The other 2 books I didn't get to read to December, so I'll talk about those in my December wrap up, and they are by 2 different authors. So No Thank You was an interesting story because we get introduced to Amir and Monroe, and Amir has 2 cousins, and the 3 of them have this bet going on every Thanksgiving of trying to see which one is going to bring the baddest chicks to Thanksgiving dinner and get the I See You Nephew award from their Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico is this womanizer, this player who brings a fine girl every Thanksgiving. And Monroe actually has been to this Thanksgiving dinner a few years ago. She was on the arm of Uncle Rico. And so now her and Amir are dating, but she sees it as more of a friends with benefits situation. So in this novelette, we get Amir trying to establish something more serious with Monroe and also get her to go to Thanksgiving dinner with him so that he can get this award. This novella was quick and cute. I really enjoyed it, so I am giving it 4 stars. The next book is another short story. And during the month of November, there was a Braid event, which is Black Readers Appreciation Event. There were a lot of books that you can download from Amazon and other platforms for free. This book was one of those that I downloaded for free, and it is also a book that I see all over Facebook, and that is Dear Vicky by Octavia Grant. This book surprised me, y'all. It is crazy. So we get introduced to the main character who works at a supermarket bagging groceries. There is a beautiful woman that comes in, and y'all, she gives him like a one-line flirt of like, hi cutie or something, and she says his name because she reads it off of his name tag. This guy becomes so obsessed with her after this. He literally goes home and tells his mom, I'm getting married to her. So this whole story is about him writing these obsessive letters to Vicky and him doing some extreme things in order to get closer to Vicky and make sure the 2 of them can start this life together that he has in his head. I will say This book was very cringy for me, and I wasn't completely sold on it. So I'm giving it 3 stars. I think it was very creative. It went there, and I'm always here for authors going there. But it was a little bit too disturbing for me, just the lengths he would go to. And I do like a villain in a story, but I'm used to the villain having like that little element that makes me root for them. But honey, I couldn't root for his craziness. I was like, can somebody take him out of here? Because, like, he is doing the most. The last book that I read in the month of November is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in her Crescent City series. We get more of Bryce and Hunt, all of their friends. This story was jam-packed with action, with relationships building. I really enjoyed it, and y'all, the ending really shocked me and had me so excited to read book 3. So I give this book 5 stars. I will say I'm not quite sold on Sarah J. Maas yet. I still feel like her books be missing something, but the shock of the ending for me definitely made me rate this book higher than I have some of her others. And I do like that the action was there. This is a series that I actually would reread at a later date because it was some good plot, interesting characters. I really loved all the friendships and relationships built in this story. And then the plot was pretty good of what was happening in the city, with Bryce trying to save them from the Asteri and all of the happenings going behind the scenes of their governing body. Y'all, that's it for the books I read in the month of November. I'll be back with my December reading wrap up as well as my top 10 books of 2024. So stay tuned for those videos, and thank you again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.